Good afternoon, guys. I'm back. I was just talking to my pops. He was outside, getting some sun, but he was not dressed appropriately for me to have him on camera when I was talking. But yeah, here today. Last week was such a great time and a blessing. I was able to drive the car. I kind of got out of my own head and just went in the car and started to drive it, and that was a good feeling. I think I was being extremely hesitant. I mean, rightfully so to a certain respect, because I wasn't sure how the braking was. But as you guys seen in the video, if you did see it, I was able to stop the car. I was able to drive it. I was able to go through the gears. I only went to third gear. I didn't go higher than that. But it was a good feeling to actually move the car under its own power in the neighborhood and stuff like that. And depending on what I do today, I might do it again. I might risk it again and do it. I mean, fortunately for me, my parents, where they live at, it's kind of more like residential in the back end, and I'm not near the major street, so I could kind of parlay driving around like I did, as opposed to driving this car further out. Then it's like getting to sketchy territory. But be that as it may, I was just having a conversation with my father. As you guys know, who know the story, when I first started this project, or was thinking about having a project, it was all because I had a conversation with a coworker about my father's van. That van that's over there. I was like, yo, that van was like clutch. My dad got it brand new back in, like, I think 98, 99. And that was a family vehicle. I went to prom in that joint, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But it was sitting in that spot for such a long time. Now, my dad did get done dirty by dealerships, and the work that they did, and they kind of left him out there hanging, and he had to take a risk, like either get the car back as is or go to court and fight and possibly lose the van anyway. And he didn't want to take that chance. But it's been sitting there for a long time. So we're just talking about the steps for him to get his van running. And I was just saying to him, like, sometimes we have great ideas. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, ideally, I would love to have a shop where I can have this car pulled into the shop out of the elements. I can come there whenever, no matter if it's raining, snowing, whatever the weather may be. I can pull up in there. It's a safe, quiet space where I can leave tools out, probably leave the car open, leave parts open, like where I can get to the car and not have to pack everything up, cover it back up, put everything back in this basement, do all these different things, and just tinker on it little by little. But you have to work with what you have. And I was explaining to my pops, like, sometimes it's like when you scatter yourself and doing multiple parts of the project, you sometimes get yourself overwhelmed and you make things harder than when it needs to be. And I was saying that to him because, like, yeah, we know you got to do this, you got to clean up van, you got to take this out, all these different things we know. But if you start spreading yourself so thin, you're not going to ever get anything moving in the direction you need it to be. So that was my first dilemma with this project. Was like, I was like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do body work. I have to do the wheels. I have to do the interior. I need a new seat. I got to do the car. And it's like, yo, Mike, once I compartmentalize the project, it's like, yo, I need to work on the mechanical stuff first. I could do this. Things started to snowball when I had parts and I had like the momentum and I knew what I was doing and how I was getting it done. Things were like happening, and it made the project go a lot faster. Even though I had this project for a while, I haven't really driven it like that legally in a while, right? But I was able to get the car back on the ground. It's back on all fours, as you guys saw. Like I said last week, I was able to drive it. So with the manual swap and everything, I got a new seat, all this stuff like that. Well, new to me seat, everything. So I was saying all that to him. It's like, yo, we have to do that. Like, when you start thinking these different things, you slow your progress. And even today, today my goal is to like really clean up this interior. I'm not going to like super clean it or anything like that, because I know eventually I might have to really take it out again and really shampoo it, because it does have like an old smell to it. I do notice, like in the headline, if you see, there is some leaking around like the sunroof. I'm scared to even try to open it, because if I can't close it, it's over. So I know there's some seals that got to get done. There's a lot of stuff in here that needs to be tweaked and like really gone through and stuff like that. But just to clean it up and put it back together to make it look like an interior where it doesn't look like there's a whole bunch of garbage in the car, I'm going to do that today. And then maybe try to drive it again. I have some new window switches, relatively cheap. Got on Amazon for the windows, for these right here, to replace these, because they ain't working. So I tried to wind the windows down the other day and they're not working. And I doubt this the window regulators or anything like that. I just noticed that those things can get messed up. And also, seeing that I had that in the basement and had different other places, who knows, these probably got messed up, and they're relatively cheap to change, so I'm gonna try that. So this is what I'm planning to do today. And like I said, little by little, little by little. I know this is a talking video for this portion, because I'm gonna do another one, probably more driving footage, but it's just little by little, man. Just trying to get things back, little by little, little by little. And I feel that once you start doing that and start seeing things in that way, it makes it easier. That's the type of person I am. That's how I operate. A lot of sometimes people get upset because I don't like to jump at things and just do it. I like to think it through, like how it's going to affect me, how it's going to affect somebody else, how's it going to, what are the components that's going to happen here? Because a lot of times you just jump into these things and don't have a direct plan. You can kind of set yourself up for failure. So, yeah, I'm gonna like start doing that. I wish I had my GoPro. I might like take you guys along and film it, but it's gonna be like a kind of before thing. As you can see, everything's still kind of messy here. Like I said, I'm gonna change those, clean up this stuff here, my toolkit, put the seat back up, put the rear seat back in the rear bench. Maybe kind of do a light vacuum in here just to get some of the cobwebs and some of that like dust out of here. And then I'm gonna start messing with the window switches, and then I'm gonna start, like I said, trying to possibly move the car again and do a little quick neighborhood spin again this weekend. And then soon I'll be able to register it. I'll be able to do a lot of different things. So it's coming along. I'm extremely happy with where I'm at. Well, not where I'm at, but what's happening. I also feel proud because I did have some doubts prior to me driving it last week. I was like, oh, maybe I should have kept it automatic. Maybe I could have did this. Maybe I could have did that. It was just a lot of different things that was kind of working me. But yeah, I'm glad where I'm at. But anyway, I don't want to keep running my mouth and talking so long. Oh yeah, I have a brake booster coming sometime next week. I ordered it online. I got notified. That was on back order for a very long time. Obviously, this car's over 40 years old, so they ain't making, well, it's going to be 40 years old. They're not making those parts like that anymore. So when it came up online, it was relatively inexpensive. I ordered it. It should be coming next week. Like I said, I'm going to change that, and hopefully that sound every time I press the brakes initially will go away. That should fix my vacuum leak as well. And then, do a little quick rebleed. I got to get tires. I still got a lot to do, man. I still got some stuff to do. Got to get alignment. You know what I'm saying? I still got to take it to do all those things. I want to do like a nice interior clean. I want to hook it up. But, like I said, little by little. I need a door lock as well. This door card out for a while, and I'm still missing that lock, so I can actually lock the vehicle comfortably and not worry about things. Got to put the door card back on the opposite side. Do some little things like that. I'm very happy where I'm at. I'm getting there, and I'm gonna stop talking and stalling and start working.